Hi everyone, welcome to Bonnie Carolee Makes Cards. How easy is it to create those nighttime skies that are dark and punctuated with color and full of shine? Easy, very easy. And it is the perfect complement to go with Simon Says Stamp's Filigree Snowflake Embossing Cut. Simon is known for their ultra-thick embossing folders, resulting in beautifully detailed and deeply etched designs. Now combine that with a built-in die and you have snowflakes that are beautifully embossed and cut in one step. Let's get started. To create these easy backgrounds, I'm going to be working with Nuvo Shimmer Powders on Canson XL watercolor paper. Both sides of the paper are sprayed. This will help the paper lay flat while I'm working on it and will also help minimize warping as it dries. For this first panel, I'm going to be working with Storm Cloud and Violet Brocade. To apply the powder, I simply tap on the bottom of the bottle with my finger. If the powder is not dissolving, or if the pigment isn't moving as much as I want it to, I go in carefully and spritz it with additional water. I like using the Distress Sprayer by Tim Holtz. This bottle gives you a little bit of control over how that water is going to come out. These powders are highly pigmented, and the last thing you want are blasts of water. The result will be no distinction between the colors that are being applied. I already have quite a bit of water on the panel, but I'm not shy to add more to get the effect that I want. The key is to apply soft sprays of water, and also to target it specifically on those areas where you want to move the paint or dissolve the powder. This panel is well saturated and will take a lot of drying time. I need to work on the next panel and this one needs to be moved. I'm very careful because I don't want to have my paint moving around too much. On to the second panel. I will be working with Storm Cloud again to get that nice dark background, and the pops of color will come from Lilac Waterfall and Blue BLITZ. I was surprised to find that Lilac Waterfall was no longer available, but Violet Brocade could be substituted. On the last panel, I started with Storm Cloud and then left room to drop in the Violet Brocade. This time I'm going to approach it differently and start with my Lilac Waterfall and Blue BLITZ. The powders are applied minimally. Because they are so highly pigmented, a little goes a long way. You can always add more, but once that powder hits the water, you can't take it away. I'm going to start working in the Storm Cloud, adding just a little bit at a time. I'm focusing the dark pigment around the perimeter of the panel and also making 2 diagonal sweeps across it. I add in some more water. That will give me a sense of where I need to build up some more of the dark tones. I've got the lower diagonal mapped out. Now I'm going to start working on that upper one. Pigment powders have taught me restraint. It is important not to rush the process. Adding small amounts of powder followed by the light spritzes of water helps to maintain some control on how that background is developing. Now that I have my 2 diagonal sweeps, I'm going to focus the stormy cloud back around the perimeter. One more light spritzing of water just around the edges, and this panel is done and set aside to dry completely. The Nuvo Shimmer Powders have mica in them, which gives them that pretty metallic sheen. The panels were die cut with the largest die in Simon Says Stamps stitched rectangles. I've chosen a couple of sentiments from Simon Says Stamps Snow Much stamp set. The stamps are inked with Versamark and they're going to be embossed in silver. The heat is applied to both the front and the back of the panel to minimize warping. To get a nice, smooth, embossed sentiment with a little bit of dimension, I'm going to be embossing it 3 times. Each time heat is applied, it is kept on longer than it actually takes for that embossing powder to melt. Taking that little bit of extra time will make sure that it's nice and smooth, and will even remove some of those little dimples that can sometimes appear. And into the spatter box they go, but I want that sentiment to be protected, so I'm going to put a little bit of post-it note over top of it. White gouache is mixed with water until it's about the consistency of a heavy cream. To achieve a fine spatter, I use a small watercolor brush. The smaller the brush, the finer the spatter. All of the snowflakes were embossed and cut all at once, isn't that cool, in white cardstock and also in foam. With a blending brush, Versamark ink was applied lightly to catch the high points of the snowflakes. They were embossed in silver. Ink was applied on one half, embossed, and then the other half was done. With the embossing complete, they were mounted on foam die cuts. The panels were mounted on foam and then adhered to black cardstock measuring 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inches. I like to use Nina Classic Crest 110 pound cardstock for my card bases. It is nice and sturdy. These card bases are A2 sized. And the final step to completing these cards, on go the snowflakes. Simon Says Stamps Filigree Snowflake Emboss and Cut is an amazing embossing folder. Not only are the details deeply etched and beautiful, the fact that they come out cut and ready to go onto a card is awesome. If you are interested in any of the products that I've used to make these cards, you can find links in the description of this YouTube video or on my blog at bonniecarolee.com. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I appreciate your visit.